I do look like Lucky's idea of a recruiting channel.
Yeah.
Maybe we can something that's just like screenshots.
All right, so this is, I will have a, well, I'll wait to talk for a minute. I'll wait for people to get in here. Also, I'm kind of like jump scaring people with this. People don't know this is happening, so I'll give people a minute.
College game day.
College game day. You got the giant mascot head, uh, Dan, for our game of the week.
I gotta go to Walmart or something. Put something together. What is the game of the week anyway?
Um, let's decide that together. Let's decide that together right now. I would say. Probably Georgia LSU, right? If we're going purely
Yeah,
off of like team rankings.
team rankings. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're gonna spend too much time predicting that one, but ladies and gentlemen, I promise y'all we'll have a better format for this in future weeks in terms of the visuals. This was, kind of thrown together on my end, but college game day. Welcome to it. I am hoping to do the. I mean, this is very like it's probably not going to happen every week, but every week in which I'm available, I am hoping to do this with a rotating co-host. I get a different co-host in here every time. Pretty much what this is we just we review the week that was and we give our kind of quick snapshot predictions for every game in the upcoming week. So first off, Aladana, aka Dan Raynone, how we doing?
I'm doing well, Connor. Excited to start playing in college football.
Mm-hmm.
The games have been very exciting. I think there's been a lot of juice in this league, a lot of resurgence and interest since the Madden cycle ended. So I'm just very excited to kick this off and yeah, to see what's in store. I know you're passionate about it. You're gonna keep the content game strong, and it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, no, the content grind will continue all season and all cycle long, ladies and gentlemen. Do not worry about that. Like I said, what this is, we recap the game, or geez, I can't speak. My goodness, I'm too excited to be on College Game Day. We recap the week that was. We preview the week ahead with snapshot predictions. So, just to read off these scores so far. Obviously, we started off with a historic upset, a game that had everyone talking. James Madison 13, Oregon 7, seismic upset in Harrisburg, Virginia. Utah 56, Kentucky 35, a road win for the Utah Utes. South Carolina 42, Wisconsin 20. Obviously disconnected in the fourth quarter, but a pretty dominant display from Allen. And then we just saw on BLN Cincinnati 21, Boise State nothing. So we don't need to necessarily go into every game, but I just want to know what's your main one or two takeaways from week 0 based on what you saw?
Steele did not look good.
No,
that was my first takeaway.
No.
He's got a lot of work to do. I thought you looked very good.
I think so.
I know you've been in the lab trying to figure out the Utah Utes, and I predicted you would be the Big 12 champion heading into the cycle.
Sheesh.
So I think that prediction's working pretty well. And of course, Allen took care of business. That was good. And Cody just kind of Cody did his thing. Didn't really have to do much. Take care of Buzz.
Nah.
So it was a good slate of games for week 0, and I hope they count.
Yeah, Cody just kind of sat on the game, honestly. He didn't have some, dominant offensive display, but he didn't need to. I mean, his deep line was dominating the game. Boz wasn't able to get a lot going. So, he played the game the way he probably should have, which is, low risk. Obviously took that one deep shot at the post. But, yeah, I mean, the key takeaway has to be James Madison 13, Oregon 7. I mean, that was completely unexpected from my end. I thought, I agree with people who are saying that maybe we overrated the whole team versus scheme thing heading into the cycle, but I still was very sure that Steele was going to win that game. And he had this 3 quarterback rotation thing going on that was it was interesting. I'll say that. And, I don't know what his beef is with Dylan Gabriel, since Gabriel has all of the good mental abilities. Platinum road dog. I'm not really sure why he wasn't getting more time, but oh Lord, what happened? Wow, I heard a weird sound there, but
No, Matt was in the channel. He left.
Okay, got you. But it has to be James Madison 13, Oregon 7. I just was blown away by that whole game. And, by how just, I don't know, how scared Steele looked on offense. I don't really know what was going on there.
Oh, yeah. It's I don't know, man. Maybe it's the playbook. Maybe he's just got to get used to playing with the lefty quarterback. Maybe he's got to set his protections because I don't know. His offensive line was terrible too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think Phil got 7 sacks
Mm-hmm.
in that game, which is like no excuses. Even if even if the patch is saying that the sheds are crazy, especially on Heisman. I mean, the team gap is just so big.
Yeah.
Um, at that point, you just run inside zone every play
Yeah. I mean,
if you can't get anything on offense.
he never
Like,
even tried to establish a running game. Like he was doing all these like long developing play action shots. It's like Phil's not going to bite on this. Like he knows you're not running
mm-hmm.
consistently. So it's like why would he with his user why would he bite? Why would he set up a defense to like bite on that play action? That's a good story. I felt very good about my game. Troy didn't play his best, I will say. Like I know he's better than that. He threw it right to my guy like 3 or 4 times, so that kind of made it easier for me. But on offense, generally felt solid. A consistent kind of trend for me across Madden and college football is I need to work on the red zone offense. Whenever the field compresses on me, it gets tough for me to do much of anything. But 56 points, feel pretty good about that. Any like final thoughts on the week that was, or should we get to our quick snapshot predictions here for week 1?
I was just saying. I was just going to say that these scores are very diverse. I know people were anticipating maybe some high scoring games all across the board. We saw some low scoring. It was, of course, the James Madison Oregon game was very low, and Cincinnati Boise State. And I think, like, generally speaking, I don't know if this will change throughout the season, but the games have started off very slow. I felt like it's been like 0-0, like midway through the second quarter, and then the game opens up
Yeah.
and the offense
The
starts to
only
click.
the only
So
game where there was any offense in the first half was me and Troy. That was it. Like
yeah,
even South Carolina, Wisconsin, like that ended up being 42-20, but it was 14-7 at half, and like both offenses were kind of like sputtering out a
yeah.
little bit. So that's interesting for sure. Might be nerves, week 0. This is the first college football game for a lot of us, so I'll attribute some of it to that. But yeah, we'll see if these slow starts continue. Moving to the again, y'all, the visuals are not great for this, but we move. We begin with the resurgence, James Madison Dukes, heading into Notre Dame to play Nick's Fighting Irish. Again, I'm not going to ask for like too much analysis for each of these games, but what's your quick prediction for that one?
I guess you got to give it to Phil. Obviously, Phil is outmatched, although he is on the road this time, which might really affect how his James Madison team plays. But it's also Nick. I mean, I don't know what Nick is going to bring to these games. I hope he's in the lab. I hope he kind of figured it out. Maybe I should help him a little bit, give him some pointers. But still, I think Phil's the favorite. Nick was playing in the preseason tournament. He was getting blown out by Hero, and I was like, I mean, we'll see if this is going to be a trend. But I hope not. I hope Nick can hang in there.
I also have Phil. I think it's going to be kind of similar to the James Madison Oregon game. I think it's going to be similarly ugly on offense from both sides. I'm not expecting Phil to do a ton against the Notre Dame front seven, which is arguably better than Oregon's on the road too. But I ultimately I think he'll be able to do enough to get it done. CMAS versus Ben, Clemson versus West Virginia. Not quite as much of a team gap as I thought there was going to be going into the cycle. CMAS still with the roster advantage, and Cade Klubnik, who I believe has some good mental abilities. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think these are two users classically in BL that kind of lean on their rosters to win games, and I think CMAS, you got to give CMAS the advantage with Clemson. Ben is not very happy with his West Virginia team. He's been very vocal about it, so he's probably going to struggle season 1. I'm sure it'll get better when he starts to build up the program, but that's just the state of his game right now.
I think we're aligned on this one once again. I also have Clemson. I'm very curious to see because I don't think CMAS has played a ton of this game necessarily, especially not against other users. I'm curious to see how he handles that hostile road environment, especially since, we know he likes his hot routes. We know he likes to kind of, draw up certain schemes. So if he's not able to do that, or if it's impeded in any way, I'm curious how that's going to look. But I also have CMAS. Kentucky coming off of a week 0 loss, heading into Hard Rock Stadium to play Morty's Miami Hurricanes. I will say, from what I've seen, and I say this with nothing but love for my Washington brother, my Washington lover, I have not been super impressed from what I've seen out of Morty. Like in the game he played against Matt that I watched, and then in our game in the preseason tournament, he doesn't really seem to have his offense figured out yet. Granted, I don't know for sure if Troy has his offense figured out yet either. What's your thought on Kentucky Miami here.
Sure, I kind of agree with you, although I haven't seen much of Morty, but that's just my opinion is just because I haven't seen much of him. And I heard he's not been playing the game a lot. I know he just started playing or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So not very well experienced. Troy's been playing a lot. I've been in parties with him a lot at night, talking about this game, and I know he's excited. He did lose to you, but I do think he'll take care of business this week.
He won't look like that again against Morty, I don't think. I mean, he said in the chat, too, his kids were, like, on top of him, just, like, harassing him during the game, which that's not super helpful. And week 0 nerves, I'm sure there's a lot going into it. But I think this is going to be... Well, no, CMAS Ben is going to be the closest of the ones to talk about so far, but I also have Troy. Interesting that we've picked the away team in all 3 of these games so far. We're not really respecting these home field advantages. We're gonna, I assume, pick the away team again here. It's Louisville King versus Zach's Florida State Seminoles. I don't know a damn thing about Zach, but I'm taking King, obviously.
Yeah, King has been look very good. He beat me twice in the preseason tournament.
Yes.
His running game is really spectacular, and he's got a good passing game on third down and everything like that. He moves the ball well.
Yes.
He moves the ball in. He's a college football coach, so I think he knows how to win in college and things like that. So, and Zach, honestly, I remember him in Madden 18. He was not very good in Madden City. So I probably expect him to not be very good unless he like had this resurgence in playing Madden or anything like that I don't know about, but probably King, easy favorite.
Easily the best defensive user of anyone I've gone against in this game, like by a lot. I couldn't do anything. And if that's reflective of anything, then Zach might get shut out. Like I don't know what his path to like putting together a long sustained drive is here against his Louisville Cardinals, who have a decent roster as well. Like it's not like FC has this giant like roster advantage or anything. Hero versus FCS West. We don't need to spend too much time on this. You better win this, Hero. I pray to God you win this.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. I know you didn't have much of a choice, but it's kind of shitty when someone starts their cycle against the CPU, especially FCS. Like no one really like. Hopefully, he can stay locked into it and win this game.
I tried really hard in the moment to like make that not happen, but there was no other choice. The problem is I have a bye.
Sure.
I have a bye this week, so like there was always going to be another Big 12 team that had to go against the CPU, and
yeah.
All the other conference games were locked, so it is what it is. He had to go against the CPU. There was literally no other option.
For sure.
Cody, who we just saw put together an impressive performance against the Boise State Broncos, he heads into Champaign, Illinois to take on Alex's Illinois Fighting Illini. Again, Alex, another guy, I don't know how much he's been playing this game. Like, I haven't seen him, like, on a whole ton. Am I going to keep picking, like, every away team? I feel weird about this, but, like... I do have Cody as the favorite, I think, heading into this.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to pick Alex, even though I have not seen a lot of Alex in this game. I don't know if he's actually like played anyone at all outside of like Sean or someone or Justin. But Alex is a fighter. He's decent at Madden. And he's naturally decent at these games. So. And he's got the home field advantage. Not that the Illini are this like god team or anything, but like it's gonna be kind of a balanced team game. So I'll take Alex.
Yeah, I'm not expecting either user to really be able to lean on their roster in this one. Like you said, it's pretty balanced, and I don't know if either like Ashton GT is like a dominant individual player for Boise State. I don't know if Cincinnati or Illinois have like a dominant individual player on offense. So yeah, it's gonna come down to like who can establish their scheme better, and we shall see. We have. Who is Tim? Jesus. TCU. Tim's TCU Horned Frogs versus the Wisconsin Badgers, a team that we just saw. I mean, Justin, I think more than arguably anyone else I've watched in this game, has to find an offensive identity and find it quickly because he really kind of like sputtered out in the second half against Allen. But granted, Tim not the user that Allen is by any stretch. So and it's at home. So how do you see this going?
Yeah, I see Justin winning this game. I think Justin's going to learn from his mistakes as much as Justin can. I know we were in party last night, and the first thing he said to us was, "Oh, I'm subtracting this from my playbook. I'm adding this to my playbook." Mm-hmm. So he's already been moving stuff around and trying to figure out how to win in this game. So I'll take the Wisconsin Badgers.
which is good. You want to adapt. Obviously it wasn't the prettiest performance in the world, but it sounds like he's locked in. I am also going to take Wisconsin again. Tim, I don't know how much he's been playing. I think Justin's better than him regardless. So, and it's a home game, so give me the Wisconsin Badgers. Gamble versus Grid, Colorado versus Texas A&M. I am at a loss on this one, truly. I'm gonna go Grid just off of the AI photos that he's making. Some of the like game recaps. I think he might be more locked in than Gamble.
Yeah, he's a dog. I'll take Grid by virtue of home team. A&M is not the number 1 team anymore. They're like the number 11 team in home field advantage, but still, like, it's still going to be tough for Gamble to come in there and win.
Let a naysayer know I ain't losing again. Okay, still. I need to see it at this point because, good lord, that James Madison game, good lord almighty. Yeah, off of home field advantage. I'll be very interested to see how much Gamble tries to force it to Travis Hunter because we know how he is with his number 1 wide receiver. He might get like 20 targets. That wear and tear might play an impact early in the season for him. Fun Big Ten matchup here. Agenda's Penn State Nittany Lions, Cam's Michigan Wolverines. I have been on the train for a couple weeks now that I think Cam is going to surprise some people. In this cycle, which is not the same thing as saying he's a like national championship contender. I don't think he is, but I think he's got his running game and his defense pretty well figured out. It seems like to me. Agenda, it seems like he's been very busy over the past couple of weeks. I don't know how locked in he is necessarily, but I do have Michigan, in front of the big house. I do have them taking this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Agenda. Now I think Cam's interesting. I have not watched a lot of Cam, but I do imagine that he's using like the flex bone and stuff like that on offense. Just or like maybe some gimmicky type of offense, just for funsies, right? But I'm sure he's got a good ground and pound game. But Agenda, he's got a high flying offense. I remember that Packers team in Madden 24. And Agenda really likes college football, as far as I know. He's a big Penn State fan. Mm-hmm. So I expect him to really bring the energy into this one, and I don't see him losing his first game.
Yeah, this is our first, I think, strong disagreement. I am pretty convinced that Cam's going to win, but we'll see. That's a great thing. Like, I was also pretty convinced the Steel was going to win, so it's all about proving it on the field here, and we'll see what they're able to do. I don't know if this game's going to get played. As a matter of fact, I don't think it is because Lucky's about to head to a field trip. So, my lock of the week is Ohio State, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can take that to the bank.
Yep, there you go.
We won't spend too much time talking about that. I think I would have taken Lucky if this was happening, but it ain't. So, yeah. Boise State, who we just unfortunately saw got shut out by Cincinnati, they now head onto their first road game against the Minnesota Golden Gophers against Tahuti. I have seen Tahuti struggle on offense in the games that I've watched of him, and yet I still ultimately have Minnesota winning this game.
Yep, Tahuti is on a 4th and goal, 0-0 towards the end of the first quarter.
Oh, they're playing.
Playing right now. He's kicking a field goal. So Tahuti up 3-0. So by virtue of winning the game right now, I'm picking Tahuti.
Yeah, I would have taken Tahuti before knowing that. I'm taking Tahuti now after knowing that for sure. It's not the game of the week in terms of rankings. This is my game of the week in terms of I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen here. The Oregon Ducks, right after a seismic upset that they took against the James Madison Dukes. They head on the road once again, their second straight road game, and they will go up against Matt, a.k.a. Dealing Debts, USC Trojans. I think Steele is going to win. I don't think we're going to see the same Steele that we saw last week. I think the Oregon roster is better. I think we'll see Steele, closer to what I expect from the rest of the cycle. If Steele loses this game, you really could see the whole season start to kind of sputter out for him.
Yeah,
those are 2 tough losses to take back to back.
This is some bridge energy. Going back to the first game, Warren in the commentary booth was making fun of Steele because Steele was saying Steele complains about getting a bad pick in the lottery every year and everything like that. And then he's saying, "Oh, if I had a good team, Well, you have a good team. And what are you going to do with that good team? Are you going to win?
You have a top 5 roster, probably the fastest roster of anyone, so get it done. No excuses.
Yeah. I do expect Steele to win, though. He's going to figure it out. Matt coming into this cycle very confident, I think, or very excited and with much anticipation for himself because he's got the USC Trojans, he's got the LA Rams. I think he is going to have a better cycle than a lot of people think, but I still got Steele this one.
Yeah, I'm also taking Steel. I will absolutely be tuning into that one. Hopefully, getting it on BLN too, because that is going to be fascinating. Really, no matter which way it goes, no matter who loses this game, there might be some bridge energy. Honestly, Payne versus Cloud, Auburn versus Tennessee. They have pretty much like the exact same ratings on in terms of their rosters. Again, Payne, much like Zach, I saw like a few cycles ago not be very good, and then I don't know if he's like played anything since then. I have no choice but to take Cloud here, but I don't. This is an unknown for me. I don't know what's going to happen because I don't know how good Payne is ultimately.
Nah, Payne is a shitter. I mean, as far as I know, I mean, going back to the Madden 21, I mean, yeah, he has the most yards ever in a game with Tyreek Hill, but that's because that's all he did was
just,
PA deep bomb, like
Tyreek.
just staring at one player. But I'm taking Cloud 100%.
I hope he doesn't have a player with like platinum takeoff because that could get real toxic if he does. This is our game of the week. Not in terms of like it being the closest or most competitive game or anything, but in terms of the combined rankings of both teams, this is the game of the week. So we'll give this one a little extra pizzazz. You can imagine me putting on my Tiger hat because obviously I'm taking Warren. I mean, Jesus Christ, but it is Georgia versus LSU. Carson Beck and company, the number one ranked team, head into Death Valley to start the season. I think it might be a night game too, so that's gonna be electric. Are you in alignment with me that it's gonna be Warren by like 35?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what Sean's gonna bring.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably gonna be halfway decent at least. He's very excited about this game. He's a big Georgia fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the best team, so I don't expect Warren to like completely shit on him. Maybe it'll be like a closer game. Granted, I haven't seen much of Warren, even though he's been playing a lot. He's been straight in those games, his tournament games. Of course, he's very good at the game, and he will win. But yeah, it should be a lock though.
I think it is. The path to this game being competitive, in my opinion, is we just saw Boise State's O line completely fall apart against maybe a superior D line, like just suffer shed after shed after shed on like 3-4 man rushes. If Georgia, like LSU, doesn't have an amazing O line, I don't think. If Georgia is able to just like scream at them all day with 3-4 man rushes, like I still think eventually Warren will adjust to that, but it could be like maybe close for a half if that happens, and if Warren's maybe like a step slow to kind of figure that out, set his protections, etc. But yeah, LSU's winning this game. Allen, the 1-0 South Carolina Gamecocks against Kings, Texas Longhorns, excuse me. Now King has been, and he does this in men too, he's been very vocal about like he's not good at this game. Allen, I think, has figured out his offense in a way that very few other people have so far. I do have the South Carolina Gamecocks winning this, although I don't think his quarterback has any mental abilities, so maybe gets a little shook on the road, but beyond that, yeah.
I'm taking King. I think first of all, Texas is a very good team. I played him in a couple practice games. He ran all over me with his running back, and he's got good receivers too. Allen, I played Allen in the test league, and Allen was so frustrated with the home field advantage on the road.
Mm-hmm.
He was spiraling. So I don't know if he'll figure it out. Maybe he will, but I saw the frustration with him, and I think King can win this game. I'll pick the Longhorns.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're split on this one too. I do have Allen winning, but yeah, if that home field advantage gets in his head, if the freshman quarterback sells, unfortunate name in that regard, if he sells this game, then yeah, we can see it happening. I mean, Texas probably has one of the few secondaries that can hope to contain, Nick Harbor and the rest of the wide receiving room for South Carolina, so we may see him have a little bit of a struggle. Allen again did start very slow on offense in week 0, so I'm interested to see if that happens again. Finally, Dan, if you want to predict this, you can. I'm not going to necessarily ask you to, but it is the Florida Gators versus Dan's Alabama Crimson Tide. Will has looked very good from what I've seen. Like, I think this is going to be an early, like, this to me, I expect this to be one of the highest quality games of the first week in terms of, like, both of you just bringing your A game on offense. First off, I'm curious to see whether Mertz or Lagway starts because, Lagway is probably the better, video game quarterback, but he also doesn't have any of the mental abilities versus Mertz, who does. So, curious to see who starts there. But I see this very much as a coin flip game, but I think I'm going to take those Florida Gators, honestly. I'm going to say it to your face, Dan. I think Florida's winning this game.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind, dude. Well, I've been playing a lot of practice games, and I have not done very well in them. Granted, they are just practice games. I'm still trying to figure out my playbook, so I'm going to be learning as it goes. And traditionally, I have struggled early season, the past cycle of Madden. So if this is a week one stinker, as I usually do, then so be it. But I'll give it my A game. I'll try my best. I know Will has been playing very well.
Yeah.
I really don't even know what his style is, so I'm just kind of feel that out as we go. But I'm excited. I think it'll be a good one.
We'll find out together. I know he's been beating a lot of guys, but I don't really know what his approach has been on offense. So we'll find out. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in. We had a consistent 7, 8, 9 viewers the whole time. I appreciate you all. And 26 minutes. That's about the length of time I want all these to be. Granted, in future ones, we'll probably have more to recap from the previous week, so it'll probably be closer to 35, 40. But just a quick kind of look ahead at the week to come. And Dan, thank you so much for joining me in the first college game day in BL history. We're doing historical things here once again on BLN. And any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Not at all. Just gonna say I'm excited. Keep Better League strong. Madden's coming out in a few days as well. Hopefully, people care about that too. But I'm excited for the college football cycle. It's gonna be fun. And roll Tide.
Roll Tide and go Utes, baby. Thank you all so much for joining.